move up.
How, y'all gotta move up?
You can stay there. But let's all move up. Let's all be a family. Thank you. I just like to look people in the eye.
Close.
If you're so far back, I can't see your eyes because I can't see very good. But here's the thing. Like most of you, I was born to a mother and father. And I was born on Friday, September 13th, 1968. Friday 13th, yeah.
Wow.
I never knew my dad. He left when I was about 3 years old.
I told you.
Well, that's made a big impact on my life. Most of y'all grew up with your dads, but and most of y'all, your dads are your heroes. I've known Alan for a long time, and he's one of my heroes because he's always been steady as a rock.
Yes, sir.
But growing up without a dad, it's hard to be a man. You have to learn everything because nobody teaches you anything. But my mom got remarried when I was about 7 or 8 years old. And the man she married was a very mean guy. He used to make us be like slaves to him. We'd always be cleaning or cooking or waiting on him and getting him something to drink or something to eat. And he never let us go out. I remember one day for my birthday, he took me to Kroger and bought me a pair of shoes. I remember one year he made me shake my head because I got B's in class in school. He wasn't a very nice guy. He raped my sister. My mom eventually divorced him. But what I learned to be a man was from this guy. And that wasn't something that anybody needs to know. But from the time I can remember, my mom took me to church. We went to the First Baptist Church of Frisco. We went to Freeman Heights Baptist Church in Garland. You know the pastor there. And I never really thought about what salvation was. I just, we went to church, so that's what we did. But we went twice on Sunday, we went on Wednesday. But at home, everything was not, it wasn't a Christian family. It wasn't a Christian life. It wasn't fun. But I pretty much made it through all that. And by the time I got in high school, my mom had divorced him, and it was just me and my mom and my sister. She got married and moved to California. So it was just me and my mom. And my mom got remarried again when I was in high school. And this guy wasn't much better. Let me backtrack a little bit. When I was 10 years old, I smoked pot for the first time.
10?
Yeah. Yeah. And I was hooked. I loved it. I loved it, but it only took like one hit to get me high. So if I had a joint, it lasted me like 3 weeks. But it was an escape for me. I didn't have to feel the feelings that I felt. But that's the track I was set on. When I got in high school, I started hanging out with some guys that we had parties every weekend. We smoked pot, we drink beer, do cocaine, whatever. My two best friends, Ricky and Randy Fletcher, you know them. You know them. Their dad became like a surrogate dad to me. I love that man. He taught me a lot. But he died a few years ago, and it really broke me when he died. One of the things he did that really hit my heart was he said, "Oh, when I took one time, I went with their family because I was pretty much part of their family. I lived over there most of the time. We went to some restaurant, and he said, y'all can order beers." So Ricky ordered beer, Randy ordered beer, and I ordered beer. And the guy looked at me and goes, "He's not your son." He goes, "That's my son." And meant a lot to me. I never had a man say that's my son. So, and I'm not sure if he became a Christian before he died, but I hope he did, because I want to see him again. But all through high school, I did the drugs and alcohol. Ended up dropping out of high school, got my GED, and pretty much just went on hanging out with my friends, doing the same thing I did in high school. Every weekend we'd go get drunk and do drugs and run around with girls and do this and do that. And when I was 16, I had this, I keep jumping around and I don't know why, but when I was 16, I had this girlfriend that I got pregnant and she had an abortion. And it didn't really mean a whole lot to me at the time, but later on in life it meant a whole lot to me. That I have a son or daughter up in heaven right now that never got to experience life. 1995, I'd gotten to a place where I was smoking crack. My friends were smoking crack. I was what you call I was a druggie that still paid my bills and did all the right things. Functioning druggie is what I was. And it was April of 95. Good Friday weekend, Easter weekend. It was actually on Good Friday. I went in back part of town and bought some crack. And I was on my way home and I got pulled over. They found it, they threw me in jail. It was Garland. And my mom said, I'll come get you out under one condition. You had to go talk to my pastor. I said, yeah, okay, I don't care. I just want to get out of here. We'll talk to whoever you want me to talk to. So, I didn't know it at the time, but Brother Jim was her pastor. So, and he was young then, so he was still kind of spry. But, she took me up there I got out Saturday, and she took me up there, and he was in his office, and me and him just hit it off. I mean, I love that man. He told me some stuff, and I listened, and you know what? I told him, I said, you know what? I'm saved. I got saved when I was 6 years old. I remember going up there. He said, okay. He didn't argue with me. He played a tape for me of these kids that were, it's a cassette tape. I don't know if any of y'all ever heard it, but there's two kids listening to Metallica in the background, and they committed suicide on the tape. You could hear the gunshots go off. It's pretty powerful, but it still didn't sink into my heart. But I started going to church, and I was there every Sunday and every Wednesday, and mainly because they served food on Wednesday.
Right.
But
Okay, that's a good plan.
I went all the way through. August 23rd, 1995, it was a Wednesday night. Brother Jim had a message that 5 reasons to know whether you're a Christian or not. Point number 1, X. I don't remember what the points were, but all of them I didn't have. And all of a sudden, the Holy Spirit just got a hold of me, and I gave up. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of living the life. I mean, so I went up there, I got saved, got baptized on Sunday, and I remember my first Sunday school teacher was Steve Clove. I don't know if any of y'all know him. I know Cody does, but Cody's gonna know everybody I mentioned just about. But he was an awesome teacher, and he became one of my best friends. Him and Ken Henderson. But God used them, even though, God brings people into your life for a season. Most people don't have friends for life. I got this one guy that I've known since 3rd grade. I know another one since I was in 5th grade. But we're not friends right now. Um, I'm still in touch with the Fletchers. And what happened was when Steve became my teacher, he said, he had a thing where he said, make a list of 10 people, your 10 most wanted list of people you want to get saved. So, of course, top of my list is Ricky Randy Fletcher. And they came and they got saved. I was able to lead them to Jesus. And you know, if y'all never done that to someone you've known for so long, it's awesome feeling. And their mom ended up coming and getting saved. Their brother ended up coming and getting saved. Randy's wife got saved. Ricky's wife got saved. It was just one after another. And not long after that, God called me into the youth ministry. And I started teaching Awanas on Wednesday nights. And Cody was in there, Blaze was in there, Justin Brown was in there, Brian Paxley was in there. There's all kinds of kids in there. But it was a good place for me to start. It was really good for me to start because it teaches you a lot of patience working with 10-year-olds that are just so full of energy.
Was that our first Baptist Sanctum?
Yeah, sure was.
Upstairs.
Jerry Reynolds was the pastor again?
Jerry Reynolds was the youth pastor there. I think Art was over the Awanas though.
Yeah, he was over there.
But I did that for a couple years, and you know what? For some reason, God kept me with that group of kids. Because then I went to start teaching 6th and 7th grade and 8th grade. And, the whole time, the one thing I always wanted was a family. And I met my wife there, my ex-wife, who gave me the greatest joy in my life, my son. It's crazy how God works. You know, we can only see what's in front of us, but God sees the whole picture.
Sir.
He can see the very end of our lives and what's going to happen to us and what's going to happen tomorrow and the day after and the day after. And He's going to see the decisions that we make. And so the decisions we make affect our future. Really think about that when you make decisions. You know, at the time, I really didn't think a whole lot about it, but I met my wife, we got married. 10 months later, my son was born. Greatest day of my life. And I told myself, I said, I'm going to be to him what I never had. And Cody gave me the greatest compliment anybody's ever given me. Just a couple months ago, he said, the way you were with your son, I've never seen anybody be that way with their son before. And it's helped him with his child, with his children, with Gideon and Zach. But, you know, I was just learning it as I went along, and I was winging it. I had nothing to draw from, and I knew one thing: I didn't want to be that man that my stepfather was. And I did everything for my son. I did everything for her kids that she had before we got married. And at the time, God was blessing me in ministry, and Johnny Christie came along, and they were youth pastors at Cornerstone.
Everybody knows them here. They're our missionaries.
They were youth, and they invited me to be a part of that. And we had some great times with them. We did a bunch of great things with the youth, and our youth ministry was growing and moving. And one day, Johnny Christie said, we're going to Montana or something like that. So Brother Jim asked me to be the youth pastor in Bobby. And for a year I did that, and we went to youth camp up here at Mount Vernon in Cedar Hill. And I'll share a story with y'all about that. You know, it's customary in Brother Jim's church, people come down and pray when he starts the invitation. Well, first night we were there, they do the invitation, our whole crew, we had like 75. We had a big group there. And every one of us gets up and walks down to the front. And we didn't think anything of it, we went down to pray. As we were leaving, the pastor of the place stops me and says, "Are you the youth leader?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Can I ask you not to come down anymore?" I said, "What?" I said, "We're praying for people. We're praying for souls." He said, "Well, you're a distraction." I said, "Okay." I said, "All right." Went back, called Brother Jim. He goes, "I'll be there in the morning." So, right 8 o'clock in the morning, he shows up. Should I say who the pastor was? Anybody gonna know him?
Yeah, because he's still pastor.
Yeah, he is. Anyway, he's a local guy. He knew me because I went to his church before. He knew my mom. He married her and her husband right now. But Brother Jim went and talked to him, and it was okay for us to go down the front again. So, you know, that was an awesome time. We had more people saved in our cabin than they had saved in the big church the whole week. We had like 50 saved in our cabin, and they didn't have near that when he was up preaching. Cody led one service, I'd lead the service, and we'd sing, and they'd come tell us to quieten down every night because we were being too loud. Because we were singing and jumping and just praising the Lord, having a good time. But after a year of doing that, my ex-wife got into a little tizzy with Brian, the music minister, and we had to leave. So I wasn't happy about it, but Mama's not happy, nobody's happy.
The ex-music minister?
Brian
Gardner.
Gardner?
Okay.
Oh, now
He's-
y'all thought it was, now y'all,
Yeah.
now y'all are here.
So we went to Arapahoe Road Baptist Church, and the very first Sunday we visited, the pastor's wife had been caught cheating, and there was a big blow up in the church about that.
Wow.
Yeah, that was all revealed the first Sunday we were there. It was like, whoa,
I want to welcome the visitors.
do we really want to
cheater?
do we really want to join here?
Is that the little Baptist church down on the corner from there?
It's on Arapahoe Road, and
Oh, never mind. There was one down the street.
Yeah, it's big.
yeah, it's pretty big. It's,
Oh, okay.
it's at Shallow and Arapahoe Road.
Oh, okay.
But I ended up,
Sorry.
Kelsey went there.
No.
I ended up getting in with the youth minister there. His name was Rocky. He was awesome. He was great. He's a great guy. And we took a youth camp trip to Florida, and just had a great time with them. And then he ended up leaving, and then my ex had another falling out with the music guy again. It's a thing. It's a thing. So we had to leave there.
It's always their fault.
So then we ended up at Spring Creek, over at Shallow and I think it's Railroad Road. But it used to be a food line. Now it's a big church. But I got with the youth minister there and started teaching class, and you know everywhere we went, I was accepted, and I would get joined in. I just get plugged in and get started, and then boom, we're happy with you. We just don't want your wife. So we was on our 4th church in like 2 years. The big one over at Coit and LBJ. I forgot the name of it, but it's huge. It was one of those mega churches. And we're talking about 2007 right now, 2006, 2000. Cody was living with us.
Oh, okay.
Cody and Ben.
Been through here?
No, Ben,
You, I don't think you ever met this one,
I forgot his last name.
John Song.
Yeah. We used to have Bible studies at my house. We'd have 15, 20 kids there at a time. We'd always have cookouts. I had a swimming pool, I had a pool table. I had a good job. My ex-wife had a good job. We had plenty of money. We had plenty of, God was blessing us. I had everything a man could want. Except my wife didn't love me. It got to the point where she kicked me out and said she's going to divorce me. She did. This was April of 2008, I believe, or 2009, one of the two.
Yeah, I don't know.
My son was 9 years old. And to this point, I'd been his whole life. We did everything together. I took him to guitar practice. I took him to football practice. I took him to school. I picked him up. I took him to events. I took him to his friends. I'd go pick up his friends to come over and spend the night. I'd go swimming with him. I did everything with him. I'd cook for him. I'd clean for him. I'd wake him up. I'd put him to bed. My ex-wife was a workaholic. She would work till midnight every night and then go to bed and get up 6 o'clock in the morning and start all over again. And as far as I know, she's still that way. But it was her mission to take Josh away from me because she was jealous of our relationship. And first she tried calling CPS on me, and they said there's no reason to take him away from him. He's a good dad. Let me back up a little bit. When she kicked me out, I went from being everything to everybody to being nothing to everybody. I went from living in this big house, driving this big truck around, having kids around me all the time, cooking, cleaning, and I thrive in that environment. But when she kicked me out, I was living in a little bitty bedroom. I gave her everything. All I took was my TV and my clothes. And I had a void. I didn't have to wake up and get Josh ready for school anymore. I didn't get to come home and, one of the things that I missed mostly was he was still at the age where when I went to pick him up, he was so excited to see me every time. All you with kids, you know how it is when they're little. You go pick them up from daycare, and they come running out that door, "Daddy!" and they run, they jump in your arms. I miss that so much. But they grow up. That's what happens. But during the times we were jumping from church to church, I was losing my faith. God was no longer working in my life. And when that void came, I needed something to take away the pain, to take away the void. And you know what? Nobody from church called me. I didn't have a church family anymore, and I didn't have church friends anymore. And nobody called me to check on me. Nobody called me to say, "Hey, come do this, come do that." You know who called me? Old drug friends.
Old bullies.
And you know what I did? I started doing meth. I'd never done meth in my life. I'd done cocaine, I'd done acid, I'd done pot and beer, and I've done everything else. And I tried it. And I loved it. Let me tell you something. Meth is the worst drug in the world. They say 99% of the people who try it get addicted to it. 99%. And they say that the ones who try to quit, within 2 months, 90% of them go back to it. So for 7 years, approximately, that's what I did. I lost my job, lost my good job that I had at the insurance company for 25 years. I made $45,000 a year, 30 days vacation a year. It wasn't because I got caught in drugs, it was directly related to drugs. I couldn't hold down a job after that. For the next 7 years, I would work 2 or 3 months here, 2 or 3 months there, collect unemployment. I even sold drugs for 6 months so I wouldn't have to have a job. And when my son became 12, 13, 14 years old, he started being aware of all that. And he told me, he said, "Dad, I don't want to be around you." I was too high to even care. Too high to even care. So for 7 months, for 7 years, that's what I did. And the last 2 Christmases and Thanksgivings and birthdays, I didn't hear from my son. I'd text him, I'd call him, and I'd get no answer, no response. And I got to the point where I was asking God to kill me. I didn't want to live. There's no reason for me to live. My son didn't want me. I was a burden on everybody. All I did was steal and lie and do drugs. I couldn't hold down a job. But like I say, God sees the big picture. All I could see was what was in front of me, and I could see no future. I saw nothing. God, I woke up every morning, cursing God because He didn't kill me. Seriously. You know how I am. That was pretty bad. That's pretty low. When you think there's no hope and no point of living anymore. And then, when was the first time you texted me? Back in March?
Yeah. Around Easter.
Yeah, because you said y'all were having a thing up here. Cody texted me and I was at work and I said, yeah, I'll come. I'll go get Josh and we'll come. I knew Josh wasn't going to talk to me. I knew he wasn't coming. And I knew I wasn't coming. But, I didn't want to tell Cody that. I saw Cody grow up. And when he lived with me, I tried to be a good example. I think I was. But I just wasn't ready. God hadn't brought me to that place where I was ready to get my life back, to turn back to Him and to turn from my evil ways. But, Cody kept texting me every couple months or so. And we backtracked just a little bit. A year ago, I got popped with some speed in Garland. And it took them a whole year to even bring the trial to court. And it's about that time Cody texted me again. I said, you know what, yeah. And I really meant it this time. I said, yeah, I'm ready. I'm coming. And my court date was the week before I came here the first time. And I'd already quit doing speed, and I'd already started praying and studying my Bible again and trying to get back in good graces with God. And they pretty much threw my case out. They pretty much threw it out. It was a miracle. It was nothing short of a miracle. And you know, it's been 121 days since I've done meth. Start today.
Congratulations.
Yeah. It's the second time God has saved me from drugs. I don't think there'll be a third. If I go back, I think He's going to take my life because I won't be no use to Him now. But I won't go back. I can't go back. I won't allow myself to go there again. The day after my trial, I got a job at the place I'm working now. And it's just, I can't describe how God has worked in my life with this. I work in a dental lab, and it's a lab it's one of the biggest ones in North Texas, if not the biggest in North Texas. And they're growing every day, and I'm kind of integral in what they do. I do all the digital scanning, and I'm the only one that does it. If I wasn't there, it wouldn't get done. So God has put me in a place, and He's given me a job, and He's taught me some things. And He's just been so good to me since I decided to turn and started coming to church here, and I started living the life I was supposed to live, the life He gave me to live. I've been a Christian for 20 years this year. And I thank God that for 10 of those, I was under Brother Jim. He taught me so much. And he taught me more with his love and compassion than he did with his services, with his messages. Because you know what? You could cuss him out and he'd say, "I love you." And he'd give you a hug. But the other night, Tuesday night, I came home from work, and right now we're in a busy season, so I'm working like 12 hours a day. And I came home from work, and I don't know, y'all know Roger Staubach is, right? He was my hero growing up. And there was this show on the NFL Network called Football Life, and they were doing Roger Staubach. I don't know if any of y'all ever saw it. Did you watch it?
I saw it there.
Did you see it? It was awesome, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
And at the end, it talks about his influence on people's lives. And they had Hollywood Henderson, and they had Randy White, and Too Tall Jones, and just all these Tony Dorsett, just all these guys, and Charlie Waters, and saying what an influence he was in their lives. And Hollywood Henderson said, "He saved my life," and they were all crying because of how great a man this guy was. And I sat there thinking, I saw the size of his family. Did you see that family picture? I mean, it was just awesome. I mean, this guy,
School photo.
they said, you go looking in closets, you go looking in people's closets, you're going to find their dirty laundry. He didn't have any. And I thought it was kind of neat. He went to the Navy. Navy don't take colorblind people. He was colorblind. He said the guy gave him the test, wasn't even paying attention. He should have even been in the Navy. He should have even won the Heisman Trophy and then become the Dallas Cowboys quarterback. But God had a plan. And he's a Christian man. Charlie Waters said when his son died, Roger Staubach called him up and said, "Come work for me. You don't have to work. I'll give you an office. I'll give you a salary. I just want you to heal. Just wanted to let you know I love you.
He was the Tebow back then, caught a lot of flack for it
Yeah,
too.
yeah. You know, everybody tried to compare him to Joe Namath. He said, I'm just like Joe Namath, except I have sex with one woman. But that really got me to thinking, and I thought, you know what? Why couldn't I be like that? And I know that God has a plan for each and every one of us, and every decision we make deviates that plan. And I know that, you know, a lot of people say, you know, if I could go back and change things, I would change things. I'd change a lot of things. I'm not gonna lie to you, I would change a lot of things.
Sure, yep,
But we can't.
that's right.
We are a sum of what we've experienced. I've learned that in my life. You can only be what you know. You can't be something, you know, an oak tree can't be a palm tree. You can't just decide, I want to be that, you know?
Yeah.
You can't expect people, like I told Blaze when he was talking about his wife and how she was. I said, look, dude, she is what she's experienced. She can only be who she is. You can't expect her to be something different. But after I watched that and everything, I went to bed and God woke me up at like 12:30, 1 o'clock, and I was just bawling. And I pretty much cry every day. I don't know. I can't explain it. Most of the time it's happy cry, sometimes it's sad cry, but I pretty much cry every day. I laugh every day. I don't know if y'all heard of this guy, Jimmy Valvano. Used to be the coach of NC State basketball team. He died of cancer. And he gave this speech, well, he died like in the 90s or something. He gave this speech, he said, if you cry every day, you laugh every day, and you think every day, you've lived a good day. To be moved to emotional responses every day, I think is a big part of life. Because for 7 years I had no emotion. I didn't. I didn't want to experience any emotion. Because I knew it was sad. I knew it was pain. I knew I didn't want to hurt. I didn't want to think about my son not wanting to be a part of my life. I didn't want to think about the fact that I would get IRS $10,000. So I woke up crying. I said, you know what, God, I'm tired. I'm so tired. I'm tired of trying to fix things. I'm tired of doing things on my own. I'm tired of trying to make things work. I said, my finances, I give them to you. My son, I give them to you. My problems, I give them to you. You see, right now, I own nothing. Nothing. Thank you. I don't even drive my own car. I drive my mom's car. But you know what? My God owns a cattle on 1,000 hills. He gave me a new life verse. Everybody should have a life verse. Joshua 1:9. Somebody want to read that? Or does anybody know what it says?
Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened and do not be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go.
That is an awesome verse. God told that to two people. One was Joshua, one was Moses. It's the only two people he ever said that to in the Bible. But I believe he says it to me every day. And I claim that verse every day.
That's good.
Because you know what? It's not by my grace that I walk. It's not by my grace that I breathe and that my heart beats and that I have the freedom to speak and the freedom to go wherever I want, do whatever I want. It's by God's grace.
That's right.
Because I shouldn't be here. With all the things I've done to my life, to my body, to this body, I should be dead. Because I've done some crazy, stupid things. But I called Cody at 1:30 in the morning, woke him up, and told him what happened. And the verse God gave me for that night was Matthew 11:28. So we want to turn there and read that. Cody read it this morning, but he stole it from me.
You said 11:28?
Yeah. Anybody got it?
Come to me all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest.
I'll give you rest.
Yeah.
That's the thing. When that verse just popped in my head when I was laying there crying and just giving it to him in the dark. So I jumped up, I turned on the light, I opened my Bible, turned to it, I read that. And a peace came over me. And that's when I called Cody and said, I gotta share this. I said, I gotta share, it's time. Cody's been after me for 2 months to get up here and preach or teach or say something. And I was like, I'm not ready. You know, I left out the part where for a month I couldn't see. I had double vision. It's because my sugar was so high. They said my sugar was up around 400 for the 3 months leading up to my double vision. But that's when I found out I was diabetic. But I believe God was using that month to groom me, to prepare me, to prune me. Because it was about that time, I let this part out too. My last buddy that I was hanging out with when I stopped doing everything, he'd called me and said, where you been? I hadn't seen you in 2 months. I said, dude, God's doing some work in my life. And I told him about what was going on and everything, and he said, man, I know. He said, I know I need to get right and everything, but I'm not ready. His name's Chad. Pray for him. But the very next day, after I got 2 hours of sleep, went to work, my boss comes up and says, I want to go talk to the owner about giving you a raise at the end of the month. 2 weeks ago, I found out I didn't owe the IRS $10,000, I owe them $1,500. Because they don't know what the crap they're doing.
You had it right first time.
I almost said it. But, and the greatest thing, the best part of it is, 2 days later, I talked to myself on the phone for like 30, 45 minutes.
Amen. That's not it.
And,
Let's go, bro.
he's going to come see me on Thanksgiving
Amen.
and on Christmas.
It's awesome.
You don't know what he means to me. I know a lot of people say this, but I love my son more than anything in this world except for Jesus. And to hurt him the way I hurt him, I can't believe I did that. But you know what? God is faithful.
That's right.
God has brought it all full circle. He's brought my son back to me. I'm gonna start making some more money than I was making. Hopefully I can move out on my own again, get my own car and get my own place. And you know what? It's all Jesus. You know. That whole footsteps, you know, footprints or whatever it is. For 7 years, there was only one set of prints in my life. I don't know what he's got planned, but he's got something planned. Because he should have taken my life. Because you know what the Bible says? He'll give you desires. My desire was to die. And he didn't kill me. So I don't know where all of y'all are at tonight. But you know what? God's got a plan. It may be to stay here. It may be to move on. It may be to, I don't know. But whatever his plan is, listen to him. Listen to him. Don't let life drag you away. It's so easy to do.
Yeah.
You know, the prodigal son. I'm the prodigal son. Cody's the prodigal son. Because the Bible says the prodigal son went to his father and said, give me my part of the inheritance. And, this wasn't a poor man. He was a rich man. He was a very rich man. He's a very wealthy man. And so he went to a far country. You know what? We could be sitting in here and be in a far country.
That's right.
Amen.
Jesus used parables to speak spiritual things on a level that we could understand. And that son took his wealth, he went and spent it all living riotously and crazy and buying prostitutes and who knows whatever else, whatever drug they had in the day. But you know what? The father kept looking for him every day. I don't know how long he was gone. But if that dad hadn't been looking for him, he would have seen him far off. So every day that father was out there thinking, today's the day. Today's the day he's coming back. And when he saw him, what does it say? He was happy. He ran to him. He didn't wait for him to come up. He saw him, he ran to him, he hugged him, he kissed him, and he threw a party. Put a ring on his finger, a robe on his back, shoes on his feet, killed the fatted cow. They had a feast. And I told my mom, I said, when I talked to Josh, and he said he's coming Thanksgiving, I said, the prodigal son's coming back. Let's have a feast.
Yeah.
And you know what? He's not the prodigal son. My son is the best kid you would ever want to know. I only had to spank him once when he was a baby. Not a baby, but a kid. Because I'd just give him a look and he would know. I'm in trouble. I better not do that anymore. And God's going to use him.
Amen.
Because the day he was born, me, Brother Jim came up there. We sat around and we prayed for him. God would use him in a mighty way when he grows up. And I've been praying that for him ever since. But that's what God's done in my life. I don't know where we're going or how I'm going to get there. But I know what waits for me at the end of the path. You got anything?